if we look at our sample house, the next thing that we're going to do, can we see that? I can't see nothing. There it is. There we go. What we're going to do, now we're not doing the door yet. We are going to set up this little addition on the side. Okay, we're going to set up this little garage because it's still going to be a main structure. We're going to set up our two main structures before we start putting any details. Before we put doors, windows, shingles, siding, chimney, any of that kind of stuff. We're going to set up our main structure first because that's what you have to do in carpentry as well. You're going to always build your foundation, then you're going to build your main walls. You're going to put up the main walls and the roof, and then you start putting all the details. So that's what we're going to set up for this particular building. Now, if yours ends up a little different than mine, it's okay. As long as you are following your perspective, it's going to be right for you. But again, just like our main building, we're going to go through it a step-by-step kind of situation. We're going to put the main structure there first, and then I'll go around and check. All right? And honestly, that'll probably be all we do today before we go on to details and stuff tomorrow. Okay? Any questions before we begin? Ready to watch and listen? Good deal. All right. This little garage that is sticking out the side of the house, it takes up half of the width of the house itself. So there's a section of the house in the front and a section of the house that would be connected to the garage. So what we're going to do is we are going to find the halfway point of this wall. Again, a demonstrative word, this. That means you had to look when I was pointing. We're going to find the halfway point of this wall. How do you think we're going to find the halfway point of this wall? Cross the corners. But Miss Pontiff, this is a weird trapezoid thing. It's not straight. Surely that's not going to work. Actually, it does. So we are going to cross the corners of that wall. We're going to go from top left to bottom right. Put ourselves a little mark. Well, I'm going to put it darker so that y'all can see. And again, bottom left to top right, which might be horizontal, that's fine. Cross my corners to find this point. Now, I want you to notice something strange about this point. So take a break for a second and look up here. From that point to the front of my wall, it's approximately 3¼ centimeters, right? So from the point to the front of the wall, it's about 3¼ From that point to the back of my wall, it's only 2 centimeters. Miss Pontiff, how can that be a center if the front half is bigger than the back half? What are we doing? Perspective. As things move further away from us, they appear smaller, right? So the front half of this building would appear smaller than the back half. By crossing the corners, we find the true perspective center. If we would measure it and find the measurement center, it wouldn't be centered. But by crossing the corners, we find the perspective center. And that's a really cool kind of thing. Now, once we have that point, once we find the center of that wall, we are going to build our garage onto the side of our house. So on that point, we need a vertical line going from roof line to the bottom of the wall. That's our first one. Now this is going to get tricky because some things are going to overlap. So what I'd like you to do is take a break and just watch. What I'd like you to do is take a break and just watch. Right? I'm going to leave this back corner of the house. The reason I'm going to leave this back corner of the house is because I want to know where my garage needs to stop. I want the back of my garage to be level with the back of my house. So if I'd erase this right now, it would cause problems. So I need to realize that the next wall I'm going to put is kind of going to be see-through. So from this point and this point, I'm going to build a rectangle, just like this one, that connects to this first building. So I'm going to have a horizontal line here. And again, I'm going to compare it to the edge of my paper. And I want to stop it before I get to my vanishing point. I don't want to go all the way to the vanishing point. Okay, horizontal line here, horizontal line at the bottom. It's the right thickness of my ruler, that's nice. Horizontal line here. To finish my rectangle, I need a vertical. And as long as it stops before your vanishing point, you're good. It could be a 2-car garage if you want it really long, or it could be a single-car garage, doesn't matter. But notice how this is just a standard rectangle sticking off the side of this building. But it's see-through. It's tricky, huh? It's tricky. Now, I did make a little extra little line right here, so I'm going to erase this. So, set up this rectangle connected to this house. Make sure your top and your bottom is horizontal. Make sure your sides are nice and vertical. Now, on my house itself, I had set up a rectangle first, right? Then we set up our roof. Then we did the thickness. In this case, we need to do our thickness right now. And I want to, just like we did on this one, just see the side of the thickness. So, from this point, top left, and this point, bottom left, I'm going to show a thickness. What am I going to connect those two to show a thickness? Vanishing point. Very good. And I'm going to draw a vanishing point line here. And I'm going to draw a vanishing point line here. Make sure you're connecting the dots. It is important that you go to the vanishing point. So top left, bottom left to the vanishing point. Anybody having trouble with that yet? Y'all good? You seeing it? Okay. Next two lines that we draw to stop our shape have to be done in a certain order. I can't do my vertical first and then my horizontal. The reason I can't do that is because if I misjudge where my vertical is, the back horizontal is not going to match up what it needs to. So from this back corner of my house, this dot right here, back corner of my house, this dot right here, I'm going to draw a horizontal line to stop my second rectangle. So horizontal goes here. When it hits this vanishing point line, that's where my vertical is going to be. Am I going too fast? Are y'all getting it? Y'all good? Anybody needs me to slow down with it? Please, please, please let me know if you need me to. Now at this point, there is a line that I should erase. Anybody want to guess which line I should erase? This one? Okay, if I want my garage to be open though, that I'm gonna see it. Okay, I'm gonna actually leave this one, right? I'm gonna erase this one, right? Because it's going through the roof. I'm gonna erase this one. That's one reason I left my back corner of my house, because I'm gonna just leave that garage open. We can put some stuff in there. We can make it a garage band. We can put a drum kit in there. We can put some paint. We can put a car in there. It'd be fun. Now to finish off though that inside of the garage, from this corner, I want to show the back wall of my garage. From this corner right here, I want to show the back wall of my garage. What kind of line do you think I need from this back corner? Horizontal line. Very good. So from that back corner, I'm going to draw a horizontal line that fits inside of that little cube. Essentially what I did was make an open cube. Now I'm going to clean it up a little bit, erase some of my extra lines while you get caught up with things. We're going to put the roof on this little addition, and then I'm going to come around to check some stuff. And that's probably be our last thing for today. I'm going to leave that little dot right there. All right. We got a little cube. attached to our main structure, yeah? Okay, now, if you look at our sample house, the roof on our garage addition has the peak facing a different direction. The peak of the main house faced us. The peak of the little addition faces off to the left. But we're going to use some similar steps to put that roof on. The first thing we're going to have to do is find the center of this wall, the side of our garage. How are we going to find the center? That way. How are we going to find the center? Yes, cross the corners. That's our lovely technical term to find the center of a shape. Cross the corners. So I'm going to go from our top right, bottom left, draw a little line. Same thing, top left, bottom right, connect my corners, draw a little line. That is the center of this shape. That is the center of this shape. I will then put my ruler on that point to find where I'd like my peak. Try to arrange it so that your peak is above this back wall, but below the peak of this roof. So if I was kind of judging to the side, I want to make sure it's lower than this peak, but above this back wall. So anywhere in that range is okay. And I'm going to put a dot. Above this back wall, but below the peak of this roof. We don't want this roof hanging over the top of the other one. It's going to look strange. All right. Once I have my dot of my peak, I can then connect to the top two corners of that wall. I can connect to the top two corners of that wall. And I can erase the little line that goes through that triangle. Again, a little tough for me to erase because I'm drawing dark. Yours should be easier because hopefully you're drawing lightly. Now, if you don't do that centering thing, it's going to make that peak look like it's kind of laying over. You'll be able to see it that it doesn't look right. To finish off this little roof, I need two more lines. I need one line for the top of the little roof, and I need one line to show where it connects to the main building. What kind of line do you think I need for the top of the roof? Horizontal, very good. So from that peak, I'm going to draw a horizontal line that goes into my main roof. Horizontal line that goes into my main roof. And here's a tricky one. How do you think I'm going to finish off the roof? Should I match this front angle back here? Will it make the roofs look like they connect if I do that? No. Match this angle. Match the main roof angle. Slide that sucker back and put that angle right here. Because then it looks like it nestles onto the top of the first roof. I'm going to do some erasing so you can see it, and then I'm going to come around and check. Now, I know this is tricky. I know that this is a step-by-step, but when you start to get this stuff, when it starts to click for you, you can see